Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Sheviit, Perek Mishnah Tet. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to speak about helping someone. If a woman wants to help her friend when it comes to doing certain things in the kitchen, help baking, measuring, what are they allowed to do to help with each other if she suspects her friend of violating the Sheviit, right? Could she go ahead and help her cook? She's suspecting a friend that her friend's cooking unkosher in the kitchen. Could she go over and help her? What are we allowed to do? Could she lend her some of her, utensils? She needs a mixing bowl. Could she lend her the mixing bowl? Could she go over and help? So that's what our Mishnah is going to speak about. So a woman is allowed to lend her friend who is hashuda, right? She's suspected of violating Sheviit. Even so, we are allowed to go ahead and lend her all these items. What are all these things mentioned in the Mishnah? One's an afa, it's a sifter. Chvara is really a larger sifter. Rechaim is a mill, right? That would grind the wheat in the mill. A tanur, an oven, right? So you allowed to, why are you allowed to do these things? Because we're going to assume that she'll use it for something else, as opposed to what she picked and she may have violated in the Sheviit. So if she's using it for something that she grew on the Shemitah year, we're not allowed to help her, right? But if you don't know for sure, and she's just asking, can I borrow your sifter? I could say, you know what, maybe she borrowed the sifter because she wants to count something. She wants to, count money or something on top of the sifter. Or let's say she wants a mill, she wants to, grind up some dyes, something that's not in food. Or even an oven, she needs to borrow an oven. Maybe she's using it. She wants to go ahead and whiten her her linen garments, right? They would put in the dye in the oven. So the point over here is if there's any way we could assume or even say, she may not be using all these items. They're not specific to cooking, and therefore, because they're not specific to cooking, we could say, maybe she's going to use it for something else, and you're allowed to lend it to her. But lo tavor v'lo titchon ima. You're not allowed to go ahead and actually, with labor, help her, right? You can't go ahead and help the tavor to separate, one thing from the next. So you're not allowed to grind with her, right? Because that's really helping her with the violated foods that she picked on the Sheviit, or she worked the field with on the Sheviit. Now, eshet haver. Next part of the Mishnah, we move on to Haver and Ama'aretz. Remember, Haver and Ama'aretz are terms when it comes to Tum'ah and Tahara. So you have the wife of a Haver, someone who is very makpid, he cares very much about Tum'ah and Tahara. She's allowed to lend the wife of an Ama'aretz who doesn't care about Tum'ah and Tahara. Even so, she's allowed to lend her Nafa Ukhfara, right? These two types of sifters. And she's allowed to even help. Right, she can help you borer, separate, or tohen, to grind, umraked, is literally to sift, and they have it literally the grains like bouncing on top of the sifter. You're allowed to do so, right? Because there's nothing wrong with that, right? Why? Because remember, things don't become tameh. Food does not become tameh until water is added to it. Once water touches it, it's susceptible to becoming tameh, right? So if you had picked wheat from the field, and water never came in contact with it, a dead body could fall on it, and it's still tahor. But once liquid, one of the 7 mashkim, liquid, dew, wine, honey, like the 7 liquids, if any of those touch it, now it makes it susceptible to becoming tameh, and if something tameh touches it, it becomes tameh. So while these things are in its dry state and no water ever touched it, the Eshet Haver is allowed to go ahead and help because there's nothing wrong. She's not even going to make it tameh. But aval mishtatila mayim, once she adds the water, lo tiga etzla, she cannot touch it. She'en mahzikin yedei ovre avera, because we can't help someone who violates, who's an over avera. Now the question over here is, why is she over avera? She made food tameh. There's no issue of making food tameh. Well, the issue over here is specific to Challah. Remember, she was not mafrish Challah yet, right? And now she's making the Challah teme'ah. And Challah is a type of terumah. And by doing so, she is causing terumah to become tameh, right? So she's not allowed to help in that process. And therefore, once liquid touches the grains, she's no longer allowed to help. She needs to back off. right? Because we can't help, even assist in any way to make challah teme'ah. Vechulan, right? Everything that we mentioned above that was allowed, right? That you're allowed to lend, all these things, you're allowed to, help grind before they add the water, right? Everything that we said, we only allow it because ways of peace. We want to encourage peace. We don't want any animosity between different, people of different religious levels. And additionally, we're allowed to help goyim on the Sheviit, as we said before, not literally with labor. We said it's with the words, encouragement, good job, keep it up, may God be with you, right? Israel, right? Because when you're encouraging Israel, something asur. You are allowed to also, seek their peace. Say, shalom aleichem to the goyim, shalom, because of shalom, because to keep peace amongst everyone. And we said this is even on their holidays themselves. We mentioned this earlier, and yeah, that's it.